What happens to final year research projects in Nigerian universities and polytechnics? Every year, we spend millions of naira across over 270 universities and over 160 polytechnics on these things called final year research projects. But have we ever asked ourselves what is our return on these investments? All these investments of time, attention, energy, and money that we put into final year research. How many of this research has led to scientific discovery or breakthrough? How many has resulted in an invention? How many of them have gotten patents or can qualify for patents? How many of them have been developed into a product and taken to the market? And why are we not asking questions? I believe that the idea of doing research projects is a really wonderful one. It's a great concept, to take young minds and put them in the field to conduct this research and come up with findings. But that is only if we can do it well. Final year research projects have a lot of potential, but we don't feel the impact in society. And I think they fail because of some reasons. But I'd like to point out some of them, which is number one, is that many of these research projects do not solve any problem, any real world problem in our society. They are just, most of them are just relevant in the laboratory. They are just addressing some issue inside another issue inside the field of study. They are not done to address or solve any problem in our society. So they are not relevant in the real world. Number two is that there is no collaboration between the academia and industry. After you build this research, maybe the students develop something innovative. There is no process to take them to market or to commercialize them. There is no relationship between companies and universities to do something, with all these research projects, right? Another one is that there is an absence of research culture. We are not used to doing research in Nigeria, especially in Nigerian universities. People just go from 100 level to 300 or 400 level and they've never done any form of research before. And then you wake up one morning and tell them, okay, now you're in your final year, you need to do this thing called research project and come up with, some findings. And because of that, you see a lot of plagiarism, a lot of recycling of topics because it's not our lifestyle. We've not been taught to get used to doing research. In fact, our universities and polytechnics have this thing where you are more rewarded for remembering than coming up with. You are more rewarded, you get higher score for having a good memory than for being creative or coming up with something new. And that also reflects in the final year projects we do. And so that is why these final year projects fail. Another big reason why they fail is because they are mostly student funded. Final year projects are funded by students, and some of them are so expensive to carry out, especially the ones that involve maybe traveling to different places to obtain samples, or the ones where you need to build a prototype. These things are funded by the students. Sometimes they are more expensive than the students' school fees. And the students have to fund all these things. And so sometimes the students actually run away from the research projects because they don't want to spend money or they don't even have money to spend. So, what can we do to improve final year research projects and make it worthwhile so that we can begin to see the impact in society? Here are my recommendations. Number one is that we need to reform the way we choose final year research project topics. We shouldn't choose these topics because they look fancy or because one lecturer likes it. Project topics should be chosen based on the problem they can solve in society. We should do something that is relevant to our community, to our lifestyle, to our nation, to our market. Research projects should be done to solve problems. That is the number one thing we need to fix about final year research projects. Number two is that we need to build a link and establish relationship between industry and academia. These final year research projects should go to companies and industries that can commercialize them. Also, companies and industries need to be able to come to universities and say, hey, we need to develop this product or we need to improve on this process. We want you to carry out this research and give us feedback. That is how it is done in other industrialized countries. There has to be that relationship for final year projects to make sense. That is number two. Number three is that we need to have mentorship and incubation. Final year research projects provides an opportunity for talent discovery. Some students who may not excel very well with paperwork might showcase that talent of being very good at research or being very good at innovation and building prototypes, and that can only come out during their final year project. So they get to showcase that talent. There has to be a mentorship system for certain students who qualify, based on their performance on their final year project. They can be mentored, or their ideas can be incubated, or they can be given scholarship for masters just based on the excellence and the work that they did in their final year research projects. Number four is that we should create a national database. Yes, a national database for research, from final year projects across different universities and polytechnics. It will be like a body of knowledge that you can go to, contribute to, and also to draw from. It will be very wonderful. And number five is we need to reward creativity. Not just, we shouldn't evaluate final year projects based on the spelling, based on the grammar, based on the punctuation, based on what does the citation look like. What about the students who are very innovative and creative? There should be a system to reward them. Even in the marking of these projects, it should be part of the things with which we evaluate and grade students. We should reward creativity, not just conformity. Number six is that there should be a fund for final year research projects. All students shouldn't fund their projects by themselves, especially the capital intensive ones that are more expensive than the school fees, right? These students shouldn't be the ones funding them, because sometimes they run away from these topics because of the amount of resources they need to commit. So there should be a kind of fund that is accessible to students based on the type of projects they are going to work on. And some of these funds can be sponsored by industries, by companies. Some of companies that these research projects can be relevant to their own operations. That is number six. And number seven, which is the last one, is that final year research projects should not be a once in an academic lifetime event. It's not something that you have to do only once and do it when you are graduating. There should be a maybe 200 level or 300 level research project to create that culture of innovation, that culture of creativity, that culture of researching and finding out. That is the foundation upon which science is built. Empiricism. We have to be empirical in our approach. Students shouldn't sit in a classroom and accept everything they have been taught. They should be given an opportunity to research for some things and find out by themselves. So that is my major point, and that is the last one. There should be a culture of creativity. There should be a research project that the students do before they get to final year. So these are the points which I think if we implement, it will really improve the way we do final year research projects, and it will improve the output, the return on investment we get from them, and we can see the impact in society. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share with anybody who you know will also find it useful. So thank you for watching. I hope that by this video I have contributed, and by your comments you have also contributed into making final year projects in our universities and polytechnics worthwhile, so that they should be something more than just a partial fulfillment of requirements to graduate. Thank you.